A single Senate vote just sent shockwaves across America, and most people don't even realize what's coming. This isn't just another bill with fancy headlines. It's a massive 940-page plan that reaches deep into your taxes, your healthcare, your retirement, even immigration, student loans, and legal protections. And yet, somehow, it squeaked past the first hurdle with a razor-thin 51-49 vote. But buried inside this bill are changes that could reshape life for millions of Americans, whether you're working, retired, or raising a family. And some of the hidden details, absolutely shocking. Let's break it all down. It sounds like a win: lower taxes, more money in your pocket, at least on paper. But behind the scenes, the Congressional Budget Office quietly released a jaw-dropping estimate. This bill could add $3.3 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. And that's not just a scary number for economists. It has real-world consequences because that debt isn't coming from thin air. It comes from deep cuts to critical programs, including healthcare. In fact, nearly 12 million Americans could end up without health insurance, many of them families, seniors, and people in rural communities, all thanks to what's buried deep in the fine print. And that's just the beginning. Here's what grabbed headlines. Trump's 2017 tax cuts are now permanent. If you like those tax breaks, they're here to stay. But there's a new twist that surprised everyone. The bill proposes no federal tax on tips and overtime pay. Think about that. If you're a restaurant worker, a rideshare driver, or someone clocking crazy hours, you could see your overtime and tips become completely tax-free. And this isn't a temporary relief. It's written as permanent law. Sounds like a win, right? Well, it comes with a massive catch. Because while some folks get relief upfront, the way they plan to pay for this could come back to bite millions. Behind the shiny tax breaks is a brutal reality: $930 billion slashed from Medicaid. This isn't just a cut for low-income families. Medicaid is the backbone of healthcare for seniors in nursing homes, people with disabilities, and rural communities. And here's the cruel twist. The bill replaces open-ended federal funding with fixed block grants. That means when the money runs out, it's gone. If costs go up, states are left scrambling. Worse, there's a new work requirement. If you're under 65 and rely on Medicaid, you'll have to prove you're working at least 80 hours a month. No job, no coverage. The only exceptions are for those officially disabled or caring for young children. Imagine being 60, battling health issues, but not yet eligible for Medicare. And suddenly, you lose your health care because you couldn't hit an 80-hour work month. To soften the blow, the bill tosses in extra $10 billion at rural hospitals. But even insiders admit it's nowhere near enough. Even Republicans are split. Senator Josh Hawley called the Medicaid cuts a mistake and warned, you can't be a working-class party while ripping healthcare away from working people. Seniors do get something: a $6,000 bonus tax deduction for those over 65. But before you celebrate, read the fine print. This deduction disappears quickly if you make over $75,000 as a single filer or $150,000 as a couple. So it's designed for retirees on fixed incomes, not for those with decent pensions or savings. At the same time, the bill quietly guts other programs seniors rely on, especially long-term care funding. Even worse, a Biden-era rule designed to boost staffing in nursing homes blocked. That rule was meant to prevent dangerous understaffing, but without it, some facilities could face closures, or worse. While healthcare faces brutal cuts, other parts of the bill are swimming in cash. Defense and border enforcement get a whopping $350 billion. Out of that, $27 billion is allocated just for mass deportation efforts. Another $45 billion goes toward building new detention facilities. That's a massive shift from investing in care to investing in enforcement. This bill barely passed, and the chaos behind the scenes, unreal. To scrape together enough votes, party leaders cut last-minute deals with holdouts. Medicaid caps were adjusted, tax breaks were handed out. Senator Lisa Murkowski scored a special tax deal for Alaskan whalers. On the flip side, Senator Tom Tillis voted no, got blasted by Trump on Truth Social, and then announced he wouldn't run for re-election. It didn't stop there. Furious Democrats pulled a rare move, forcing the entire 940-page bill to be read out loud, line by line. That stall tactic paralyzed the Senate for nearly 15 hours, and after that, they entered Votorama, an endless session where senators can propose amendment after amendment, some real, some just to force political showdowns. Hidden deep in the bill, graduate school borrowing caps. Future doctors, lawyers, and teachers won't be able to borrow as much from federal programs. The goal: push students toward cheaper schools. The reality: more students are forced into private loans with sky-high interest rates and fewer protections. It's a gut punch to anyone who dreamed of moving up but wasn't born rich. In a bizarre twist, the bill includes something called the Trump baby account. Babies born between 2025 and 2029 will automatically get a $1,000 investment fund from the government. The idea: help families build generational wealth. Sounds great until you realize this happens at the same time Medicaid and long-term care are getting gutted. Front-load the cash, but leave less support later in life. Buried in Section 70,302 is a change to how courts enforce protective orders. If someone violated a court order like a restraining order or a tenant protection, the court can't enforce it unless a financial bond was posted at the start of the case. And it's retroactive. That means if your elderly parent had a court order to protect them from an abusive landlord, but no bond was posted, the court might be powerless to act. This quietly rewrites protections for some of the most vulnerable people in the country. Not everything made it into the final bill. Special carve-outs for Alaska and Hawaii, gone. Medicare exceptions for certain drugs, scrapped. A proposed ban on Planned Parenthood funding still under review. The chaos isn't over yet. This bill isn't just numbers on a page. It's a fundamental question. What kind of country do we want to be? A nation that hands out tax breaks on tips while gutting healthcare for seniors. A country that funds detention centers while capping hospital budgets. Even Elon Musk chimed in, calling the bill utterly insane and warning Republicans it could backfire in a massive way. So now the question isn't just what's in the bill. It's, is this the future we really want? Let me know what you think. Drop a comment below. I read every single one. And if you want updates without the hype, with the facts that actually matter, hit that subscribe button. I've got you covered.